Is your mind on overdrive a lot? Or do you get caught in some negative thought patterns? Today's influence is very important, and we're going to be talking about what those influences are and how to handle them. We're going to start it right away. I am Chris McCleary from NationalDreamCenter.com and ProjectComind.com. Now, if you want to know what the biggest influences are on any given day, then I highly recommend you go to YouTube, unless you're already there, and subscribe so that you can get the biggest influence that may be affecting the way you think, feel, and behave on any given day. Today is extremely interesting. The overlaps are quite sensational, to say the least. Start with numerology, and this one's important. We're gonna see this a lot, particularly in the DreamBot. If you've been procrastinating getting something done, this is about July 16th, and we are in 2018. If you've been procrastinating getting something done, now is a good day to revisit it and make some progress. Wow. Okay, next, let's get into the astrology of it all. And we have the transit moon in Virgo, and we also have the transit Venus conjunct in Virgo. And this makes us, if the influence is right, could make us feel a lot more practical, a lot more logical, reasonable, and rational. So the mind is on overdrive on the way things should be, okay? And then there's some quincux aspects here that are going to be important, but I don't want to get into too much detail here because this is where I want to spend the time in the DreamBot. Now, if you're having questions about what I'm saying, down below in the YouTube channel is the facts, frequently asked questions, and then links to these questions that you might have, particularly what is the DreamBot. So just go to those links down below. DreamBot says the red arrows are all about death and dying. Welcome to Monday. Corpse, eerie, passing. Bottom, died, die, and crazy. Is there any doubt that the collective influence right now, or at least in the dreams, they're seeing something to do with death? Now, the blue arrows are not quite so cut and dry, but let's go through them. Realistic, that's definitely that Virgo influence. Staircase, rhythm, usually stairs and steps. A lot about stairs, a whole lot of rhythm, and definitely realistic. In my opinion, it's really looking like a Virgo day. It's very practical. We want to know what the next step is. But what do you make of this death, this clear death thing? Well, those quincux that we talked about that I kind of passed up earlier, those are the Mars quincux, Venus quincux Mars, and then Mercury quincux Pluto. So we have, on the one hand, there's some enhancements or some discussions between men and women. That's going to be between the first one we talked about, and then you have a communication planet that's getting some deep insights from Pluto. Pluto, and being one of the more of the death-oriented planets, or maybe breakthrough kind of planets. But clearly, according to the DreamBot run, there is some death and dying. And what I hope is not happening is that you're trying to, if we take this very literally, you might be taking death as or you're taking your rational mind towards death, or in other words, rationalizing dying. And I hope that's not the case for you, but it could very well be. I work in a place where suicides are a commonplace. So I am kind of wondering today if maybe there'll be more people coming in if we're taking this literally. But the dreams do work very much metaphorically, and I'm thinking that either there's a death of logic, or more importantly, I'm just thinking just straight up how the mind works. Typically, for some reason, as human beings, we want to rationalize everything away. And then when we get into the mind and heavy thinking, it tends to degrade into negative beliefs about life and the way that it handles it. So what we're going to talk about in our section next, we're going to talk about how to shut the mind off. And we're going to talk about if you end up in these negative life patterns or negative thought patterns, how to shut off the mind. Something that a lot of people didn't know was even possible. So we're going to come back and talk about that next. Well, next. IM2 is a model that was developed a couple years ago, and it's going to be the therapy model of choice as we go along surfing the cosmic waves, if you will, with the cosmic influences and the collective influences. If you're wondering a little bit more about IM2, we're going to be going through those periodically, but not today. And you can go look at the facts below. But the mind has a shut-off valve if you know how to orchestrate it. ADHD, in my opinion, looks more like an undisciplined mind. And the seriously ADHD folks are going to balk at that, probably, explicit words or whatever. But if you can discipline the mind, you can actually it's a better way of slowing down or stopping the negative cycles that may be weighing you down. So how do we do this? First off, the mind is a coin. And there's two sides to this coin. But we in the Western society typically only use one side of that coin, which is the thought. There's thinking on one side, and on the other side is awareness. Awareness of what? Well, awareness of the physical sensations, so the five senses. What are you feeling? What are you tasting? What are you seeing? What are you hearing? And then what are you feeling, if I didn't say that already? But the five senses, that's what you're being aware of, and including you're being aware of your thoughts. So, I don't know if you've been thinking about or have heard about this concept called thought stopping, but if I ask you to not think about ice cream, I've probably just put a picture of ice cream in your mind. So not thinking about something actually makes you think more of it. So instead, if we can be aware that we're thinking, because a lot of times when we get off in thinking, it's unconsciously, we're not even aware that we're off in our thoughts. In fact, you can be so not aware that you're in your thoughts, and you can be in an old experience, either just some horrific experience or some really pleasant experience from the past, or even a fantasy in the future, and not even be aware of it. You're feeling very afraid or something. You're not even in the current moment. You're reliving that past. So one of the short, quick techniques is to just become aware of it. As strange as that sounds, but become aware that you are off into fantasy land, that you're thinking. And the way that you do this is to start by becoming aware of something else that's around you in the physical reality. So like your lungs, your breathing. If you can become aware of your breathing, which should always be there, then you can start to become closer to the now. And in essence, you spin the coin around to the other side, which is awareness. So the one side of the coin is thinking. That's what we typically are always doing, is thinking and problem solving. And then the other side is awareness. Now it takes practice to keep the coin flipped over to awareness. But when you're purely aware, you're not thinking. Most people, when you're first starting out, can maybe do this for 1 or 2 seconds. So our switch is automatically defaulted to thinking, but we have to train it that there's another side. And the longer that you can spend to the other side, in other words, on the awareness side, you reap the benefits of relaxation, less thinking, less anxiety, certainly less the orientation towards death and escapism, which is something that we like to do. But we can go off for another hour talking just about this item here. I would recommend just becoming aware of your thoughts, not try to stop them, but just become aware of them. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and like and share. You all have a wonderful day, and we are the National Dream Center, healing the collective psyche one mind at a time.